This is All India Radio. In the program Spotlight, now we bring you a roundup of Nagaland, Tripura and Meghalaya Assembly election results and analysis with political analyst K.V. Prasad and senior journalist Vinay Kumar.
From Northeast, the news could not have been better and more satisfying for the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party. BJP since 2018 had been ruling all the northeastern states in alliance with some regional party or the others with their partners. If we see on Monday, Meghalaya and Nagaland went to polls, assembly polls. All the three states have 60 seats each, and Tripura had earlier gone to polls on February 16. Tripura is the place where BJP had roamed home after 3 decades of left front ruling the state. Prasad, if we see the most gratifying news for the BJP is coming from Tripura, where it has managed to win the elections, although with slightly lesser number of seats, but it's a big victory for BJP in Tripura. So, how do you see Tripura first? Then we'll come to Meghalaya and Nagaland.
I think you said it right. It's quite significant, the fact that the Bharatiya Janata Party has retained its the power it had in Tripura. And remember, when it went into elections in 2018, nobody gave them a ghost of a chance, especially the fact that the CPIM had been in power for such a long time. They were firmly entrenched, but the way they changed the dynamics of the state politics and the fact that 5 years later, people of the state spoke for the Bharatiya Janata Party. That's significant, number one. Of course, as you rightly said, the number of seats may have gone down by a notch from 36 in the last to 32, but that doesn't really matter. End of the day, what really matters is the BJP has roamed home victorious, and that should be a very, very comforting sign. And remember, the BJP had done a very good change of tack in 2022 summer when they changed the chief minister.
Yes.
So they realized that something was amiss and they needed to do the course correction much before elections. So Dr. Manik Saha was brought in. I think that really proved a game changer, if one would say so. And
also, Prasad, if we see Tripura Motha Party, which is led by a former royal scion of the royal family, Deva Burman, Pradyot Deva Burman, has managed to win 13 seats. And as Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who visited BJP headquarters in New Delhi this evening, he himself said that there was a time when only violence used to be the news coming from northeastern states, and particularly we know Tripura was beset with insurgency. So even in his high-pitched campaign, Prime Minister Modi undertook several rallies, addressed meetings and road shows also. And his stress was on peace, development and economic growth. Plus we know that stability is also very important. So this indigenous progressive front of Tripura, IPFT, along with BJP, both are comfortably placed, and BJP is now all set to form government in all the 3 northeastern states, Tripura, Nagaland and Meghalaya. How do you see emergence of Tripura Motha Party in Tripura?
Well, I think that's quite significant, Vinay. And let us not forget, as you rightly point out, the former royal was with the Congress party till he actually left them and then floated his own party, which or the Tripura Motha, which wants to give a voice to the indigenous people. Because remember, traditionally there was a resentment of the tribals, in particular the tribal population which was there, that the CPIM in particular was more tilted towards those who spoke a language which was different from them. So that was the resentment, the underlying sentiment which was there for a pretty long time. So I think that having been looked at, but yet, yes, Tripura Motha is a party which has a very firm idea. They have a idea of a greater Tripura land. And remember, there is some voices that are willing to accommodate this kind of sentiment. So we really don't know how it will go from where we are. But the fact is, the indigenous people have a voice in the assembly. And after 2018 municipal elections, where this party did well, I think this is a very, very significant victory for them.
And if we move on to Meghalaya now, Meghalaya and Nagaland, they voted on Monday. And both of them have 60 seats, but the polling was held in 59 seats in both the states. In Meghalaya, the ruling party, National People's Party, NPP, has won 26 seats. United Democratic Party, UDP, has bagged 11 seats. Congress and TMC have won 5 seats each. And Chief Minister and NPP candidate Conrad Sangma, who went solo this time because he has ditched his erstwhile partner BJP, he has won from South Tura Assembly seat, and Deputy Chief Minister Tai Song of NPP has also been declared victorious from another constituency, Pioneer Sala. But Conrad Sangma has come back to BJP fold. He rang up Union Home Minister Amit Shah this evening, and he sought his blessings and support in forming the government because they are running short by 4 seats in halfway mark. They have not achieved. So, do you think this homecoming has a significance in Meghalaya's political dynamics?
Well, there are two ways I look at it. Number one, if you look at it, the NPP with 26 seats is pretty close. It's the lead party in the, as you said rightly, 31 is a simple majority. They are 5 short in terms of numbers. But if you add the UDP with 11, which was their erstwhile partner in terms, so they're comfortably home. But the fact is, we should realize that these states which are up in the hills with 60 assembly seats, they always look for a party which has a favorable leaning at the center, because they are dependent on the center for many things, and of course they have done business with BJP, if I were to say so. In fact, Mr. Sangma and the BJP, his party NPP and BJP were in power for the last 5 years. They were a coalition government, so they know each other pretty well, and it's like you need support of a big party. And remember the bigger message that always the BJP talks of, or the Prime Minister talks of, the double engine government. So it helps propelling growth, delivering on the promises Mr. Sangma made to his people. Of course, Sangma and his party have bigger ambitions, but then you grow as you grow. But you need the BJP to move forward on implementing the plans and policies that he has promised to the people of Meghalaya.
And from Meghalaya, another significant trend is bad news for Congress, which had 121 seats in 2018, is now reduced to 5.
Yeah.
And but good news coming from Mamata Banerjee's All India Trinamool Congress, which did not contest 2018 polls this time. They have made their foray and their maiden attempt. They have won 5 seats. So Mamata Banerjee is also trying to make her party's presence felt in Northeast, particularly Tripura and Meghalaya. So how do you see this Congress faring so badly, and Trinamool Congress making its dent?
Vinay, I think here we know, all of us, that the majority of people who crossed over to Trinamool Congress were members of the Indian National Congress. So the kind of things that happened in INC had accused the Trinamool was poaching on its own legislators, was poaching on its own leaders. So that having been said, the Congress of course is losing space, we all know. And remember, whether it is in Meghalaya, it is the Trinamool Congress which has come out to win 5 seats. If you look at it, the Congress with depleted strength, 5 seats, I think they just are there where they are. They have to really introspect post Raipur in particular. Is it making a difference? Because I think that's what is everybody's looking at. But certainly Trinamool Congress, and I think this is something we should watch when the 2024 elections come into play, because Trinamool Congress wants to have a larger piece of the pie.
And this is also significant, as because it was an acid test not only for Trinamool Congress but a test for popularity of BJP also, because we have other major states coming up for assembly polls this year: Karnataka, Telangana, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, to name a few, where the stakes are much higher. But if we now look at Nagaland, Nagaland has seen an era of peace and the insurgency waning off, and Naga Accord also being there on the table, only finishing touches, final touches to be given to that, and the government at the center is well cognizant of the fact that peace is a big constituency in insurgency hit Nagaland, where it has gone on for the last 6 decades. So relatively peace and calm have prevailed in Nagaland. So Nagaland, what are your first impressions about Nagaland?
I think, Vinay, what you said is very important, that dividend of peace is what I look at it. Because for almost 2 generations, I mean, remember 97 is when the first time they decided to hold the fire and ceasefire, and NSC and IM in particular came into talks. So it's 25 years plus that you're into it, and negotiations are going on, and 2015 we had the framework agreement. So there has been consolidation from where we were. So a whole 2 generations have seen peace evolve, and dividend of peace is what's important, because that leads to prosperity in terms of progress, and remember, whether it is Northeast or any part, the youth are aspirational. They always look forward. They want to connect to the whole world. So I think that's important, and that's what the BJP and the NDPP have been promising, the kind of delivery mechanism that are trying to put in place, because Nagaland or other parts of Northeast have perennial problems. Delivery has been a shortfall on many counts. So I think that's what the government at the center has been pushing under Prime Minister Modi, to try and look at delivery. And that shows, and remember, everybody was a little surprised when the electoral pact was stitched, that the BJP decided to take lesser number of seats as compared to the NDPP. I think 40:20 out of the 60-member assembly.
I think that is a very pragmatic approach, considering the fact and dynamics in Northeast and particularly in Nagaland.
So I think the BJP as a party which is looking at the holistic picture and is looking at from an advantageous position of being at the center, they kind of knew what kind of dynamics are at play in a state like Nagaland, especially after the framework agreement, and how do you move forward. So as I said, dividend of peace is something which you need to keep on growing. That's where the greater assimilation will take place.
And also a very significant, the result coming from Nagaland is that for the first time in Nagaland, women candidates have done well, and they have won assembly polls. Fekani Jakhalu Kense and Sal Hutono Kruse, both from NDPP, have won the elections. So I think Northeast is where women are always at the forefront. You were mentioning about organizations led by women and who have played a big role in furthering peace and development and carrying on social movements in Northeast, particularly in Nagaland. So that is also a very significant trend.
Well, I think that's a very important point that you raised. Remember, both of us have reported home ministry, and we all know the role played by Naga mothers in trying to bring about peace in that region, and they worked a major show. But yet, women of Nagaland did not have any kind of representation in the assembly segment. So I think that's a breakthrough, if I would say. And coming as it does now, and NDPP having given a now subsequent amount of seats, and 2 of them getting victorious, I think they will have a voice in the assembly, which is very important.
And also, Prasad, both the states, Nagaland and Meghalaya, are music-mad states. I mean, as you said, youth aspirations. Particularly, they must have seen the track record in the past 5 years of BJP-led governments. And also, all the 3 states have indigenous tribes and tribals and Christian-dominated. They have their own culture and they have their own values, which BJP seems to have respected in the past 5 years. So the message is very clear from these election results from these 3 northeastern states.
Well, I think the fact is Meghalaya had a different kind of wording, but yet it has spoken, the people of Meghalaya have spoken. And if you look at the larger picture, as you said, the effort of BJP and the Prime Minister, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Saath. So kind of inclusive kind of it, and respecting the traditional, and as you said, Nagaland, whether it's Arunachal, other parts of the state, and Tripura, indigenous people of different tribes come together, live in harmonious
So
life.
all eyes will be, Prasad, on these 3 states, how they are governed in the next 5 years. Thank you for the discussion. Thank you very much.
You were listening to a roundup of Nagaland, Tripura and Meghalaya Assembly election results and analysis with political analyst KV Prasad and senior journalist Vinay Kumar. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. You can listen to it on our mobile app News on AIR. This program is also available on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official.